with Dr. Mark Vaughn and Dr. Gwaine here at the Auburn Medical Group, talking about, let's see, what are we talking about? We're talking about vaccinations of infants for...
I don't know, I just show up for the glory.
For measles before they travel. Okay, so share the glory, since that's what you come here for.
Well,
You said Bianca said hi.
Yeah,
Bianca.
and
She probably did it before we were even late.
Yeah, she's on it. I'm trying to actually get the video going.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
It's coming.
Don't have the audio really loud this time.
It's waiting for you.
So yes, Bianca, we do know you're out there. Thank you for greeting us through the chat. For people watching this who aren't familiar with this program, it's actually done live on YouTube at 4:30 p.m. on Monday afternoon Pacific time. And we actually have a live chat going during the show that we refer to on Dr. Gwaine's mobile device.
Yep. All right, good now.
So, so we know how we sound and look because we get feedback real time from you. So if you are watching this after the fact and you haven't been a part of the live broadcast, then you can become a part by subscribing to the channel. And then once you subscribe, touching that bell icon and telling it how to notify you with notifications so you know when we go live, which is kind of on a schedule. So you don't necessarily have to have that, but it helps you to be a part of the group. Also, those people who really like being a part of the channel can join it by hitting the join button.
Bianca, who has
a little, if you look at by her name, she has a little,
what would you call that?
Badge, I believe is the word.
Oh, we'll call it a badge of honor.
Badge of honor.
Hers has a 2.
A 2, because she's been around for longer than those who have a 1.
Right. She's been around much longer than that. But a subscriber to the channel for...
We'll still get a badge.
2 months?
Yeah.
2 months.
And there's a special treat for everyone watching and in the show when there's a super chat, which is when you hit the little dollar sign.
Always.
Yep.
We love those.
It makes the show more interesting. So.
Yep.
So are they asking about what we're talking about?
No questions yet. Just people saying hi and good evening. Rusty Bernard, Laura Baker, some of our the names we recognize.
Rusty, yeah.
Yeah.
Laura, thank you. Thanks for coming. So the topic is...
Somebody asks about where'd you go to undergrad and med school, and any advice? That must be a pre-med person.
Okay, let's do that before we get to the topic.
Yeah, sure, why not? We can talk about that.
So for undergrad, I actually attended Northwest Nazarene College, although I started at John Brown University and then transferred, and then went to St. Louis University School of Medicine in St. Louis, Missouri for medical school. How about you, Dr. Gwaine?
I went to Point Loma Nazarene University. Both Nazarene universities. Weird. Yep. It's almost like we're related and have similar...
Could be. Similar backgrounds.
And then I went to medical school at Loma Linda University, which is in Southern California.
Yes. So we did that.
That's what we did. Great experience.
The topic, pediatric or infant vaccination for measles before travel. This is an interesting thing. Before we came across this news item this morning, neither of us was aware this was even a thing.
Right.
So
this was news to me.
Before I jump into it, let me give you a little bit of background. Or do you want to?
Go ahead.
So the measles vaccine is usually given after a child has turned 1 year old.
Yes.
That's normal. That's what we're used to. So we're reading this article, and, well, let me put it up. I'll show you what the, I think I have a little bit of the abstract here to show them.
Perfect.
So this is the abstract for the article. Well, let me make sure they can hear us when we do that. Remember that one time they couldn't hear us when we did that? Okay, they can hear. Just had to make sure. So if you look at it here, it's talking about wanting to determine the mortality rate in a vaccinated population. But in order to do that, you kind of have to know some background information. So they looked at these babies that had been taken to a travel clinic. This is completely the wrong graphic. Sorry, folks. That is not what we're talking about. No, that's not it. Where's the one we're talking about?
Oh, that was the other from previous.
Yeah, let's find. That's the CDC. That's mortality rates. You know what? You talk, I'll find it.
Okay, I will talk about it. So a brand new...
Keep going.
In JAMA Pediatrics, just came out. When did this come out? Did it come out today? Anyways, they followed people over 9 years from 2009 to 2018. So as we were talking earlier, the recommendation is to give kids MMR vaccine, which is measles, mumps, and rubella, at age 1 and then 4 to 5 before they go into kindergarten. That's the usual schedule. The CDC recommends that if you are traveling, you're supposed to get a vaccination before that age, all the way down to age 6 months, to make sure that you're covered. Young infants are covered when they're traveling.
So I'll show them the article.
Okay.
So this is what we're talking about.
So there you go. You found it.
Yes, this is the article that is from JAMA Pediatrics. So yeah, go ahead and continue.
And truly, I did not know this. So I can't say that I've ever had anybody travel with a young infant where I've needed to. But if somebody would have come to me with a 6 to 1 year old infant that wanted to travel, I would not have recommended the MMR. And it seems like this is a unfortunate, widely held view that they don't need vaccinations. And it shows that only 41.3% of those in that age range were vaccinated prior to travel. So,
and this was actually in a travel clinic.
Right. Yes, where you're supposed
they know about
to be
travel.
giving travel vaccines. Unfortunately, we've had an outbreak of measles here in the United States, and I don't think it's said.
And
how much
most
it is
of
due
the
to this,
time,
but
it's
this may have
from
helped. Yeah,
most of
from
the time
travel.
it's from outside of the country. Somebody bringing it back.
Bringing it in.
Somebody who wasn't vaccinated going and getting it somewhere else and bringing it back. France was where they got it when it was the cases in Reno in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it started in the Bay Area, and then somebody went up to Tahoe, and then somebody in Reno got it. And thankfully, they were able to put those people in quarantine and get rid of that particular outbreak. But we're always stamping out these little outbreaks. And in fact, we had 1,000 cases of measles in the first half of 2019.
Wow.
Perhaps we should look at something when it comes to numbers like that.
A lot.
Are you sure you want me to try this?
Do I?
This is the complications of measles.
Yes, they're fairly common. If I remember correctly, I think it's 1 in 1,000.
So
will
if you look over on the right of the screen there,
right?
Yeah, encephalitis is
1.1%.
1 in 1,000, and death is 1 in 500.
Wow.
Well, we've had 1,000 cases. We're having enough that we expect to see deaths. Although I don't see that deaths have been reported in 2019.
Right. So are the statistics wrong?
It just takes time sometimes for it to work out.
Everything regresses to the mean with statistics.
Regresses to the mean.
That is what my statistics teacher told me.
That sounds sad. It regresses to
Regression.
the mean. It just gets meaner.
To the mean.
It gets meaner.
Huh, that sounds like old grumpy men. They regress to the mean.
That's what happens with age, too.
You regress to the mean.
So that's what you were saying. The longer you go, the more you get regression to the mean.
Yeah, there you go.
So this is a real thing, people going out and not being vaccinated against measles. I think I had another graphic that went along with this, and I will show it shortly. Oh, okay. So
Bianca said she took her baby on a plane when she was 13 weeks. And I actually don't know.
That's a different story.
Yeah, it's a different story before age 6 months. But, and I don't know if that was outside of your country either. I don't actually know if the UK has similar recommendations to
probably
CDC.
similar.
I would imagine there's
probably
a health agency there that works with the CDC in tandem. So,
So this is the other graphic I wanted to show. That
it says your graphic is blurry.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I'm working on it. Is this one better?
Oh, sorry.
Somebody comment on the blurriness or not of this graphic. So this graphic shows that infants, this is actually from the CDC website, infants under 12 months, if they're traveling internationally, do something different. And that is age 6 months to 11 months, give them a dose of the measles vaccine. And then after they get back, you still give them the regular routine
so you start
schedule.
Back on that 12 months.
In addition to that, this is a bonus.
Ooh,
measles vaccination
exciting.
For infants who are traveling internationally.
Extra protection.
Extra protection. That's what it's all about. So that's on the CDC. Now, you said that you've not done this, but let me ask you, how many infants have you been doing travel medicine for that travel internationally?
I can't think of any of my patients that have
I
done
think
that.
you may have caught it, and I'll show you why I think you may have caught it. It's another
May
graphic that I have.
Caught it.
That they needed the vaccine. Not that you would catch rabies.
Oh.
Why am I saying rabies? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, if you look
I've
it
been
up on the
studying
travel
boards,
website.
Does
it come up?
Which
Yeah.
I always do.
I do too,
I
yeah.
put in the name of the country,
Right.
and then here's what comes up. So at the top of the list was Aruba. So I just went with
Aruba. We're traveling.
But here's what they say for all travelers, measles, and there's this extra
it
little
even says
thing
it
up
there.
here for infants. So you would have seen that
Yeah.
if you actually did have a
So it's
patient.
all international travel, even to developed countries.
All international
All
travel.
right. Yeah, because it was France that we got
If
the
you're,
measles from.
yeah,
That makes
France, giving us some
sense.
measles.
France.
Macron.
Wow.
We watched Saturday Night Live this
Yeah.
week, so
That's the only way
That's
you
where it's
know
coming from.
about the.
don't forget
Is he
the
a prime
sign.
minister? Is that what they have? Or
Boris, don't forget the sign.
oh man.
We got a kick out of that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Jimmy Fallon and James
Somebody
Corden.
asks, for the first 6 months, baby has mom's immunity? Question mark. Yes, to a certain extent. That kind of weans over that amount of time. As you kind of switch from this mom to baby development of the immune system. If you're breastfeeding, you actually can transfer some of those antibodies as well to the baby.
That's cool that happens.
To get some immunity as well, which is pretty neat. So
Yeah.
yes, you are correct.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So if the mom is vaccinated, you'll get some there. Still good to get that baby some extra protection though, because babies and measles don't go well together.
No.
Yeah. Encephalitis, brain infections, bad.
That is bad.
Unfortunately, can have some long-term effects. So.
So what are your questions and comments about our vaccination of infants for international
I'm trying to
travel?
find questions about that. We have some other questions, but
So anyway, that website I was showing you, the CDC, where we go to get our information when patients come in and saying, I'm going to travel internationally, what do I need? You can go to the exact same website we do. We just go to the CDC travel website. So put in your favorite search engine, CDC, and travel, and then they've got a place on the page on the CDC where you can list the destination or select the destination. And if you even look at that graphic that we had, you'll see that over on the left side of the screen, there's a place for what kind of traveler are you? Traveling with children. If you hit that traveling with children,
there you go. I bet that one comes up.
you'll still get the same thing. you'll get that assessed infants younger than but you can see that there's other little like chronic disease.
If you're
cruise
working
ship,
with certain high-risk populations,
pregnant women,
hepatitis B, I remember
visiting
some of
friends
those,
or family.
If you're doing animals, they recommend rabies.
Getting the
stuff
rabies
like that.
vaccine if you're going to be touching animals in another country.
Bianca says her brother went to Africa and he had to get a ton of injections. Yellow fever was just one, but he had to get malaria tablets and a bunch of other things.
That's right.
True. Yeah, that's why we love that website. It's very helpful. So we have people who
all there.
who go all over the place. And we can't have all that memorized, and it's constantly changing. So we just go to the CDC travel website, type in the place.
It's right there.
It's pretty convenient.
And you have
Very
access
helpful.
to the same website we use for.
Yep, print it out, take it to your doctor, say, I need these vaccines.
That's right. And
So-
then have them make sure then they check it again just in case you printed it out a year before or something.
Yep. Yeah, because it's always changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Let's see. Somebody's asked, would you recommend going to Mexico or Canada for antibiotics, asthma meds, or et cetera? I think they're probably talking about maybe high-priced medications here in the
Yeah,
United States.
I'm thinking that my official recommendation will probably be negative on that, but it's a soft negative. And here's why. It's probably the drug industry that's done it, but they've put in my mind just enough of a question of if you're actually getting what you think you're getting when you get things from across the border, just enough that I can't fully say, yeah, go ahead and do it. I'm sure most of it's fine, but and then there's a bit of a question of how much of it is legal. I think
right.
at one point there may have been something passed that made it so that patients could get enough for their own personal prescription and there's no problem. But then it seems like I tried to look that up and I couldn't even find any actual evidence that was true, that was a real thing. So
I can't say
I'm going to have to defer on this one. I have looked it up, and there are some videos on our website or on our YouTube channel where I have had that answer, that I had looked it up, but
I don't recall.
Pretty sure I didn't find that there was any allowance whatsoever. And you know what that is? That's two things. One is it's the drug companies being in the pockets of our politicians. That's part of it.
Yeah.
And the other part is real concern that we have no control over what happens past the border,
Right. Yeah.
even in Canada.
Yes. And at least in Mexico, you can get like antibiotics over the counter, which
Yeah,
kind of
you just get them.
Yeah, you just go to the pharmacy and pick up. Oh,
La Farmacia.
I've got a cold. I need antibiotics, which you don't. You go pick them up and create drug resistance.
There you go.
That's what you do. So
In Spanish. Drug resistance. In Espanol.
Muy bueno.
Resistante. I don't know if that's the word or not.
I don't know.
It might be.
Apparently, Big Pharma has a presence in the UK as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. A lot of the companies are even European.
Somebody, Pamela, is asking about coverage of travel vaccinations. I don't think they are. I mean, if it's a routine something that is recommended by the CDC for everyone, even non-travelers, then I believe you can get it covered, like the tetanus and MMR for middle-aged people.
This extra measles for
that I don't
an
know.
infant. Would that be covered? We don't know.
I don't know. That's a good question. I would have to look that up.
Where would you even look that up? Because it's probably different from
from
insurance to insurance.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Is there a question we know the answer to here?
We're like over 3 this afternoon.
Why are people watching us if we don't know the answer to the questions? We don't know anything. Yeah. We're supposed to be answering medical questions for the
ask
world.
More medical questions.
So
Not insurance questions. Don't ask us those.
It's sweeps week. We really need this.
It's sweeps week. Go nominate us for something.
That's right. For something. The streamies or...
Is that what?
That's a thing, yeah. Like I see a badge. What's that?
That's Bianca.
Yeah, what's she asking?
She said same truth for big pharma companies here.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to hit
Don't touch
I'll keep my hand off your lap.
Yes, please.
I'll stop looking at your lap. What's next?
Anyway.
I'm not lucky.
Anyways.
Oh, that's right. Your eyes are up here. Okay.
Bianca says, our government's determined to kill off and sell NHS and big pharma companies donate loads of money so they avoid tax. Sounds like the United States.
You have corruption there too?
What?
It's not unique to any one country.
What do you know?
Was a certain vice presidential candidate and his son investing in big pharma in
It wasn't big pharma.
No, never mind.
It was a gas company, wasn't it?
So thank you for thank you for joining us. We're glad you came to learn.
Thank you for
about
watching
infant vaccines and
instead of impeachment.
And yes, we thank you for that.
Better than that, even though we don't know anything.
I'm sorry that I didn't look up the insurance coverage on what we were talking about, which you'd think that I would learn and then next time I would go and look at the insurance coverage, but I don't intend to at all.
It changes.
I was going to say.
Yeah, every year somebody's changing their insurance.
It depends on which.
Yeah, insurances are changing their coverage.
Is it with this state's Medicaid program? Is it with Medicare? Is it with this private insurance? Is it? Yeah, so I'm sorry I'm not going to be real helpful on those insurance questions. I appreciate you watching and asking, but
yeah,
sorry, that one's just not.
Call up your insurance company and ask them.
We should get somebody to start a YouTube channel called Medical Insurance Coverage Questions.
There you go.
I'm sure they'd have lots of views.
That's like,
I'm sure that they'll have 100,000 subscribers in no time.
It's like C-SPAN. I mean, it's just dry. And...
You ever watch C-SPAN? There's like some guy in a bookstore.
Lately, though, man, some C-SPAN stuff is going off the hinges. All of that.
Well,
hearing
I was going to say the hearings get shown on the other network. So if it's anything that people are interested in, it's going to be on another network anyway. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Anything you want to?
I guess they're trying to get Boris out this week. Anyways.
Somebody was saying that. Yeah.
That's what Bianca said.
Even though he was so funny on that skit on Saturday Night Live.
Well, that wasn't him.
Oh.
James Corden.
Oh. Okay.
Who's apparently UK.
And that wasn't Angela Merkel?
He came from the...
At the cool kids table.
At the cool kids table. Which included
Trudeau and Macron.
Yeah.
And Johnson got there somehow.
Yeah.
All right. You want to say?
What do I want to say? I say thank you.
The audio did drop out. There was just nothing. There was no. No content.
my brain catching up and reading at the same time. I can't do two things at once, apparently. And yeah, thank you to my patrons, Boo Boo Kitty and Teresa Roat. You make this happen. Appreciate it.
And thank you to Lindsay Antoine. Thank you, Lindsay. And I did see your comment this week in the comments. And I'll see all of your comments when you comment after the show and the comments on YouTube. And thank you again, those of you who are part of the channel and those of you who subscribe and the patrons. Until next time,
I'm Dr. Coyne Vaughn.
Dr. Mark Vaughn telling you to stay in good health.
See ya.
Stop and